Check, 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 check. One, two, roll. So, a whole lot of the whole Grateful Dead thing with their mass following of hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. My story starts 3 years before 32990 Nassau Coliseum, Uniondale, New York. Normally that's a taboo thing to say because it was a bootleg for about 20 years or more, almost a quarter century bootleg. Since 2014, it's been a Hollywood success. It's been in every it's in every other public library, national library, archives, DC library, etc.'s music with the FBI policy, with the look at the soundboards, with the hear the soundboards, with the and then the second most majority starts on that show that day up until about 2001, where he's assumed dead because they all understand that Groton was a target or of some kind, and announced to the whole world that is the number one submarine capital of the world, Groton, Connecticut, which just happens to be next to, the hospital he's born at, which is announced in the 32990 Uniondale, New York, Nassau Coliseum. The album's called Wake Up to Find Out. It came out in 2014. Inconsequently or in coincidence, it started getting federal checks at that point from the United States Department of Treasury, which is good. Yeah, it's good. But then he disappears, and he supposedly, he's not sticking to the story anymore. There, push came to shove. It's World War III sort of thing, and then this public figure, is all of a sudden World News is over his house, and he's on World News. The Drew Carlson story, lesser known member of the Grateful Dead, firstborn child here. And then, in coincidence, Bush Pierce is talking about her possible sexual promiscuity. So that's what piped up. And then in 2018, I think World News came back, as a sort of, and I don't know if that ever aired, but they kind of came and did a little UN audit. So if you were following from 2008, it's like I'd go right into the dozen dames. And my great grandmother on my Swiss side, Phoebe, appointed me 2 babysitters because she was under the assumption that we were considered peers. We're about the same age. We had about the same financial stability, financial that money that was eventually you could earn or use yourself. So I was like 4, and I met Paris Hilton and Ivanka Trump, right? And then but before that it was Keelan Garcia and Jen Midland. And and then I'm 6 and I'm meeting Chelsea Clinton. And then I'm 10 and I'm meeting Bush Pierce, and all sorts of formal things. And then I'm 12 and I'm meeting Daisy Ridley. And then I'm 16 and I'm meeting Halsey. And then say something like 20 and you're meeting Mackenzie Davis. And then there was and normally I can't remember the dozen names, to save the life of me, as far as, riches and celebrity, anything. I can eventually, but normally that was live. A 15-minute run from Fort Trumbull Nuclear Submarine Parking Spot, Fort Trumbull, Connecticut, Connecticut State Park, Fort Trumbull, or something similar in New London County. So after about an hour of talk, going through all sorts of things in a regular ordinary radio show catering to like a centennial citizen. They're senior citizens, and then when you're over 100 or close to 100, you'd be a centennial citizen. And newborns by a plenty. I mean, compared to his age, they're newborns, but what are they? They're preschool, grade school, middle school, high school, community colleges, Coast Guard cadets, and stuff like that, and then it'll come around. And then there was the off-duty servicemen. It was the hospital districts, and they'd park like, hey, I heard about this guy while I was working on the bus. and then they come and park in plain clothes and like hang out and want to hear me live, and they're like, I did a little bit of research. He's been world famous and he's right behind our hospital, for the past like quarter century at least, you know. And so they come around regardless of whether or not I says like, uh, 4 o'clock coffee stop coming right up. Don't bring your friends. Hey, don't come at all. It's like this, and actually, if I could put in a little PSA, if you could doesn't bring everyone and their mother through this private gated neighborhood, is if I'm, a girl in a glass box somewhere in Amsterdam, or a smoking chimp, or a bear on a chain, or something. I really did just pull a 3,600 day shift of something similar to that in my backyard, 4,300 something now. I'm still on meds, and although I haven't, officially been announced as a public figure as far as in the eyes of the world, since I was told I was in hiding or hiatus or something like that, trying to survive this close to New York. And in the eyes of a plane, New London is Groton, and it's except it's guarded by the Thames. Yeah, but that's just brackish water or salt anyway. So it's like what the hell difference is there? It's like not much, especially when the boat parks at the dock. You're right. So another little PSA is, although and I don't have any show scheduled, but I was just at Carlos Santana in Hartford not too long ago. Before that, it was Melvin Seals within this year, 2019, and before that, it was Melvin Seals in 2018. So eventually, I'll get a golden ticket, something like, and I was trying to refer to Grandpa Joe from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Eventually, I'll get an invite or a ticket to another, usually between 50 and 100 people in attendance, or it's like Santana's actually here. He hasn't been. And I haven't gotten an invite for that ever, except for this past summer. I guess he felt bad. He got that homeless guy that was in his original band or close to the original band, the Congo player. He kind of left him dead on the side of the road while he went and spent million billion dollars on whatever the heck he wanted or needed to. Finally got him back into the band, clean him up, ship shape, and I guess he may have done research as to other people he may have played with. I don't have that particular guitar at my disposal now. If in the other homestead, we've done filming there before, and I mentioned during that it's because I was the temporary property owner, as the head honchos of the 10,000 square foot bought in about 1790 A.D. or 1810 A.D. were on the other side of the planet. So if they do that again, they leave the guitar there, I'll make sure and get like a picture or a video or something, because we're pretty sure that one was from Carlos Santana, and it might be mine eventually. So I'm going to go ahead and check out at about, say, 4, 3, 2, 1.